What's up, Sauce Nation? It's your boy Ray Rants, aka the Pigskin Prophet. I'm bringing you another feed from In the Trenches, and I wanted to go over my ideas for the top 5 offensive line prospects in this class. I'm going to make it pretty brief. I'm going to start from the number 1 and work my way down. I'm going to do the opposite end. Make sure you follow all the social media platforms for Sauce Nation. Also, make sure that you check out our Patreon page. It's a bunch of different content that we put out, early video access, Discord, in-game stuff. It's a great opportunity to look and see inside what we do as far as the roundtable and in Sauce. So go ahead and check that out. And without further ado, the top 5 offensive line prospects for the 2022 NFL Draft. Let's get it. All right, at number 1, it should be no surprise, it's Evan Neal. Now, anyone who's followed us knows that I'm not a big Alabama guy. I think Alabama offensive linemen are kind of overrated, but let's be real. I mean, this guy has proven again and again and again that he may look like a little better than his predecessors were. So I'm gonna go over some weaknesses first, and then I'll go into strengths. So, and just to make this a little bit quicker. As far as Evan Neal goes, there's maybe 3 things that I'll go through as far as weaknesses for everybody. For Evan Neal in particular, his technique is really flawed. In particular, just he relies so much on his natural ability, his strength and quickness and length that he kind of anchors himself. So I would say technique is one. His feet kind of does not stay chopping and move he relies on more physical traits that he's got. And sometimes that's a detriment to what he's doing. And to be kind of honest with you, if I had to put the third one is his lunging. And you can kind of put that under technique, but I kind of consider those 2 different things, because lunging is you're either trying to make up for and compensate for somewhere where you screwed up, or quite simply, you're just not there quick enough to get to where you need to go, right? So that's as far as his weaknesses. As far as his strengths, he's actually a better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. He can absolutely get you where you need to go. He's pretty athletically gifted for someone who is of his size. Let's just be real. It's kind of ridiculous that a guy that's that big can be that athletic. It's kind of like reminds me of when Dontari Poe in the combine just like wowed everyone with how big he was and how quick he was and how strong he was. It's kind of the same concept with this guy. So that's what I would go with as far as the number 1, which is Evan Neal from Alabama. So let's move on to number 2 prospect in the NFL Draft. All right, and at number 2 is going to be Kenyon Green from Texas A&M. This guy is probably one of the most versatile linemen in this class, not just this year alone, because I'm an A&M fan, so I've particularly watched him. I mean, he played some at right guard this year, some at left guard, which is his natural position as left guard, and then he played a lot of left tackle this year. Evan Neal, to me, is very versatile. He's got a lot of ability, and he is 100% going to be one of those linemen that are just going to be around for a while. His weaknesses, though, he's not without weaknesses. He doesn't dominate. He's not a mauler. He's not a mauler. He just doesn't. He kind of overextends it a little bit, loses his balance because he's not really trying to assert his will. He's just trying to get in the way, which is kind of the idea of what offensive lineman is. But he's not like a couple other people on this list that will just destroy you if they're in front of you. As far as like pancake blocking and stuff like that, that's not what you're gonna get from Kenyon Green. Okay, kind of like similar to Neal. He kind of stops chopping his feet. He kind of loses his sense of direction. Maybe he's out of balance. Maybe he's not in the proper position, which leads me into the third spot, which is lunging. You see a recurring theme on a lot of these guys. The lunging aspect of it is part of being an offensive lineman. Let's be real. You're big. You're moving a lot. You're trying to move other big people who are just almost as strong or as big. So lunging and stuff, it is a weakness though, but it doesn't mean that it's something that's a complete detriment. So you're going to get a lot of repetitive things going down this list. As far as his strengths go, technically sound, and he is, and to me, an excellent pass blocker and above average run blocker. So to me, he's a little bit better than Neal as far as technically sound, but even though he's a big individual, he's just not physically as gifted or as strong as Evan Neal, which is why Evan Neal, to me, gets the nod over him in that opinion, in my opinion. So these are just, I mean, there's very few things about Kenyon Green's game that the nitpicking with the lunging and sometimes his feet goes, it's pretty nitpicky, honestly. The overall stature of this guy, I mean, these all top 5 of these prospects this year, to me, start on probably almost any offensive line instantly, and that's not a joke. I don't say that lightly. Are they Quentin Nelson? No. Can one of them be Quentin Nelson type? Possibly, but again, time's going to tell with that. And I kind of use Quentin Nelson as a bar because he's the most recent, just absolute dominant force coming out of college on the offensive line that's happened in quite a while. And when I mean dominant, I mean dominant, like in every aspect. So anyways, let's move on to number 3. All right, number 3, offensive line prospect. And this is where it's going to differ from most other probably any kind of draft prospect side or anything like that. And it's just because I've done so much research on this one in particular guy. And I would say, as far as probably will have the best career as a pro, a bit like high ceiling, low basement type level character, is going to be Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa. The very first thing you have to know about Tyler Linderbaum is he's a center. All right. Centers don't usually go high. Centers aren't usually in the top 5, to be honest with you, as far as offensive line prospects. But let me tell you, and as of now, as of December 18th, 2021, Tyler Linderbaum has not declared for the draft. He has not declared for the draft, and so there's no telling if he's going to come out or not. All right, he would be wise to, because he's considered one of the top offensive linemen in his class. I think it'd be ridiculous if he did. The Tyler Linderbaum, again, I'll go for weaknesses first. His one weakness, and I do mean one weakness, is he's 6'3", 290 pounds. That's it. I guess you could put short arms in there. That's it. I'm not joking. That's literally it. Since I've been doing prospect reviews on offensive linemen, since Quentin Nelson, he is the only lineman that I've ever said that has like 1 or 2 weaknesses tops. Tyler Linderbaum is going to be a center like we haven't seen in quite some time. I mean, we're talking like Jermani Dawson type shit. He's going to have a great career. His strengths, pick one. They're everywhere. From technique to run game to pulling on screens as a center, his down block on zone schemes to reach the 3 technique or the 4 technique, he can reach it. Furthermore, he can seal the outside shoulder during the run. Things that I've seen him do as a center, I haven't seen done in quite some time. Well, if you want a comparison, I'll give you a comparison. To me, he is a better Chris Myers for all those Texans fans out there. Straight up, and it's not even close. I think he'll be better than Chris Myers. As long as injuries don't come up. But he doesn't have an injury history. He's a multi-sport athlete. He went to Iowa as a defensive tackle. They moved him to center, and he dominated everyone's ass. He actually wrestled in high school Tristan Wirfs and beat him. At 6'3", 290 pounds. So don't tell me he's not strong. I've seen him body up 330-pound defensive linemen this year like they were nothing. To me, honestly, if he wasn't a center, if this was someone like a guard or tackle, he would instantly be the best offensive lineman in this class, and it's not even close. Not even close. But he is a center. So I got to, unfortunately, just for that, I have to drop him a little bit, which sucks. But anyways, as you can clearly tell, I'm a humongous Tyler Linderbaum guy. I haven't been this high on offensive linemen since Quentin Nelson. Just saying. All right, now move us on to the number 4th best offensive line prospect. And again, this is where a lot of people, this is going to get kind of crazy. But let's get to it. At number 4, Charles Cross, offensive tackle from Mississippi State. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to explain to you why he's at 4 when all you have to do is go look at tape on him. Watch tape on him. You can watch highlights, you can watch tape, whatever it is you do to evaluate in your mind offensive line prospects, go watch it and you will not be disappointed. I really like Charles Cross. To me, he doesn't have nearly the snaps that most of these guys do, but for what he's done in the SEC and who he's done it against, and for everything that he's a relatively big guy. I mean, I think he's like 6'3", 6'3". I think he's like 6'5", like 315, 320. I mean, he's a pretty good size for a tackle. And I'm not a big size guy when it comes to linemen, but a lot of people are, so I just put it in there for you guys. But he does have his issues. Again, snap rate, it's kind of a little less than most as far as it's a top 5 lineman is concerned. You would like to see more tape on him, obviously. But realistically speaking, for the tape you do see on him, holy crap, and who he goes against and who he dominates, yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll take a great stab on it. He is not a physically imposing dude. He is not a mauler. He's not what he is. To me, he's the opposite of Evan Neal. Not a mauler, not physically, too physically dominant at the point of attack, but he is technically sound. And he has got great football IQ. Great football IQ. Another weakness is he's the kind of guy that relies on precise angles. What I mean by that is, if you draw up a scheme and you need to down block to this angle, first helmet opposite color, take it, right? That kind of thing. If it's not there, sometimes he seems like he's a little lost in a play, and that's just because either plays flowing away from him or the person that he was supposed to block has shaded to that side and he can't get to it. And it doesn't speak to his lack of speed. It just speaks to I feel like sometimes in particular in the run game, he doesn't get to his angles right away, but that's an easily coachable trait to get rid of. So, but and again, like everyone else, the lunge thing, again, offensive lineman guys, they get tired and they're gonna lunge. So this is a common theme with weakness. There's not one guy out there that does not lunge. So if you want to have a negative trait on anybody, it's going to be the lunge factor. That's that real. So Charles Cross, I think, can go mid to late first round. He is a first rounder. Every one of these guys I've talked about is a first rounder. And my last one, this is a good transition to the next one. Number 5 could be a first rounder, but it depends on a lot of pro day tape and maybe some combine stuff. So we'll get to our number 5 pick here in 1 second. All right, and at number 5, and of course, after this one, I'll even give you a dark horse. Like I like guys who, someone that I think can go in the later rounds. That could be someone that could potentially be a pretty decent lineman in the NFL. I'll go over that here in a minute. Okay. At number 5 is going to be Ikem Ikpeazu from North Carolina State. Now, his nickname is Icky, and he has been dominant. He's been basically dubbed the most feared lineman in the ACC, and it has mainly to do with his pancake blocks. And as a true freshman, he started tackle for NC State. I think he had 20 pancake blocks for a true freshman. That's pretty damn incredible. I think in 2020 year, he had 55 pancake blocks. As far as this year is concerned, I don't even know how many pancake blocks he has this year, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be anywhere between 20 and 50. Just put that out there. When they played Clemson, he basically threw people around consistently all the time. Can get out in space, can do those things that you need to, but his weaknesses, lunging. We'll just get that one out of the way, right? He needs his feet okay, I would say his feet are not like they're in cement, but I would say they're like they're it's choppy. He'll make contact and then he'll start chopping again. You know, he won't go through the contact, and a lot of that has to do with more passing, because his pass game is good, but he is probably, besides Tyler Linderbaum, probably the best run blocker in this class. I kid you not. The amount of pancake blocks this guy does consistently is ridiculous. It's his strength and his size. I think he's like 6'4", 320. I mean, he's your prototypical guard size to me. But his pass blocking is suspect. This year they had him move to left tackle. So his freshman year he played tackle and did okay, but then they moved him to guard in 2020, and then he started a little bit of guard this year, but then they ended up moving him out to left tackle. And again, another versatile guy, guard to tackle on the left side. Has the ability to just destroy anyone that's in front of him, no matter how big they are. He was doing this to some relatively big ACC players this year. And I feel like if you're a running first team, this is your guy. Because I think you can get him better as far as pass protection later on down the road. But as far as like just, I would actually, if you want a kind of a comparison, he is a nastier Titus Howard when Titus Howard first got here. Great run blocker, just, the pass blocking needs attention, and James Campen could easily help him with this guy's skill set. He could be something pretty nice, but that's if Houston's even targeting him in the first round, of course. So, but that's it for number 5. My dark horse pick, and I'm going to just kind of roll this into it, is Logan Bruss from Wisconsin. Now, anyone who's known me knows I like Logan Bruss. Logan Bruss right now is considered to be a day 2 kind of guy. They're saying late 3rd, early 4th round kind of guy. And to me, that's kind of an insult to Logan Bruss. Wisconsin has a history of pumping out extremely good, or at least above average, offensive linemen. This guy has been a 4-year starter. He primarily was at guard, but they moved him to tackle. You'll see a recurring theme. Same thing with Kenyon Green. They did the same thing with Icky. They did the same. Like that theme is very recurring, and I really think that that's something that I'm going to do a video about how offensive linemen are more valued as the more versatile they get. Meaning, the more places you can play on a line, the better off you are. Right? I don't like that, because that sets a precedence of okay, that guy's injured, let's just move you to guard, even though you've been a career right tackle. That kind of thing. I don't. And maybe it's just the old school in me, but I really feel like that's a little much. But anyways, just moving on to this, what I would say is that Logan Bruss is technically sound. He's not physically opposing. He does lunge every now and then. Again, that goes probably being tired. And he's not a mauler. He's a technique guy. That's it. And I love technique guys, because technique guys can put on bulk a lot easier than someone who's bulky and needs to learn technique. That's just a reality. So that's what I got. So again, it's kind of similar for the top 2. It's Evan Neal, Kenyon Green, and then and for me it's Tyler Linderbaum, Charles Cross, and then Akeem Ikinawu. So I hope you guys liked the video. This is just the top 5 offensive line prospects for the 2022 NFL draft as of now. Unless something changes, let's say for whatever reason, Icky's a junior, maybe he doesn't come out. Tyler Linderbaum's a junior, maybe he doesn't come out. Neither one of them has declared as of now, but this is a fluid situation. So again, thank you for stopping by. We love you here at Sauce Nation. Again, check out our Patreon page, check out all the social media platforms, and we look forward to talking with you guys. As per usual, y'all, stay saucy, man.